All right, class, welcome. Today, we're going to step out of the textbook and into the real world. We're heading straight into the lively, chaotic, and wonderful atmosphere of a Chinese market. We're going to move beyond those scripted dialogues and tackle a skill that is absolutely essential for anyone looking to truly navigate a Chinese-speaking environment, the art of bargaining.
So, the big question is, are you ready to bargain like a local? Because today, we're going to deconstruct not just the essential language, but maybe more importantly, the cultural mindset you're going to need. You see, this isn't just about saving a bit of money. It's about participating in a fundamental cultural practice. It's really a kind of social dance that you'll find happening all over the place, from bustling street markets to tiny little shops.
Okay, let's start with your opening move. This is your first and most important tool. It's a phrase that's really direct, it's very clear, and it immediately signals to the vendor that, hey, a negotiation is about to get started. Now, I want you to listen very, very carefully to the tone here. It's not a flat, uninterested, taiguela. No, it's taiguela. Can you hear that difference? The statement is firm, but it's not aggressive. All the power is packed into those two decisive, falling fourth tones. So let's break down exactly why this simple, three-character phrase is just so effective. Okay, let's really dive into the components here, piece by piece. First up, we have tai. Now, this is an adverb of degree, but it's much stronger than just saying very. It really means to or excessively. So right away, you're establishing that the price isn't just high, it's beyond an acceptable limit. Then we have gui. This character is fascinating. It's actually made up of zhong for middle and bei, which is the ancient character for a shell, what was used as currency. So you can almost picture it as the price of a precious shell, which is why it means expensive or even noble. But the phrase still isn't complete without that last critical piece. And that brings us to the final character, le. Now, for many of you, I know this little particle can be a real source of confusion because it does a few different things in the language. You've probably seen it used to mark a completed action, kind of like a simple past tense. But here its job is something different. It's a modal particle, and it indicates a change of state. So by adding le, you're not just stating a dry fact like it is expensive. No, you're communicating something much more nuanced. You're saying, after hearing your price, I have now come to the realization that this is too expensive for me. See? It turns a simple observation into a personal reaction, and that right there is the foundation for opening any negotiation.
Okay, so you've made your position clear with a firm taiguela. But you can't just stop there, right? You need a way to open the door for a counteroffer, but you want to do it without sounding demanding. And that is exactly where your second essential phrase comes into play.
Once again, I want you to listen really closely to the intonation. 可以便宜一点吗? Do you hear how it ends on that natural, rising, inquisitive tone? This is absolutely critical. It's what makes this a polite request, a gentle inquiry, and not a demand. That little bit of softness in your tone is what invites cooperation from the other side.
So let's break this one down too. We kick it off with 可以, which is a super useful modal verb that means can or may I. It frames the whole sentence as a polite possibility from the get-go. Then we have 便宜, meaning cheap. Now, this next part, 一点, is just crucial for politeness. It means a little bit. By adding this, you're signaling that you're not asking for some huge, drastic price cut. You're softening the request, suggesting just a small adjustment would be great.
And finally, we get to the question particle ma. This is, of course, one of the simplest ways you can form a yes-no question in Mandarin. You just tack it onto the end of a statement. So the statement 可以便宜一点, you can make it a little cheaper, instantly becomes the question 可以便宜一点吗? Can you make it a little cheaper? This final particle is what transforms your suggestion into a respectful query, and it gives the vendor the power and the opening to respond. Okay, so now that we have the linguistic tools, we absolutely must talk about the philosophy behind them. Language without cultural context is just a bunch of empty words. So we have to ask, why is bargaining so deeply, deeply ingrained in the culture? You see, unlike in a lot of Western stores where prices are fixed, they're non-negotiable, in so many Chinese contexts, we're talking outdoor markets, small shops, tourist areas, that initial price tag, it's not an endpoint. You should think of it as an invitation. It is simply the starting point for a conversation. And this slide right here brilliantly illustrates that fundamental difference. In a fixed-price culture, the whole focus is on the transaction. It's about efficiency. But in a bargaining culture, the focus shifts to the interaction. It becomes a social dance, a chance to build a little bit of rapport, a form of guanxi or relationship. And for a student living there, if you just accept the first price, it can actually be seen as being a bit aloof, maybe even naive.
But when you participate, you show you're engaged with the social fabric. And this interaction is also deeply tied to the concept of minza, or face. A good negotiation allows both of you to maintain face.
It is so crucial to remember this. This is not a battle to be won or lost. A truly successful negotiation ends when both you and the vendor feel good about it. The vendor makes a sale they're content with, which gives them face. You get a price you're happy to pay, and that gives you face. It's a social skill that really values harmony and mutual satisfaction. It's a win-win.
All right, finally, let's talk about pronunciation. Because in a tonal language like Mandarin, how you say something can honestly be even more important than what you say. The wrong tone can completely undermine your efforts and send a message you didn't intend to send at all.
Okay, one of the most common issues I see with native English speakers is carrying over our own native intonation patterns. And this often results in a very flat, monotonous delivery of Mandarin tones. When you say 太贵了 without those strong, falling fourth tones, it can make you sound bored or dismissive or even a little bit rude.
So to correct this, you really have to practice that sharp, downward drop in your voice. Think of it like a quick, decisive chop. It should feel definitive. Let's try it. Tai. Good. Again. Gui. Now let's put it together. 太贵了. That decisiveness is what clearly communicates how you feel about that price.
Now for our second one, 便宜. This word can be really tricky. It combines a rising second tone on 偏 with a neutral tone on yi. A lot of students struggle with this. They either flatten both tones out, or they mistakenly apply that rising tone to both of the syllables.
So the key here is to treat them as two distinct but connected sounds. First, you have to ensure that the pian has a full, clear rise. It should sound like you're asking a question. Pian. Then, the yi that follows is very light and very quick. It's a soft landing. Listen to me do it. Pianyi. Again. Pianyi. It's that clear rise followed by a soft, quick landing that makes it sound so natural.
So here's a simple little sequence to keep in your back pocket. First, always start by building rapport with a warm ni hao, ni hao. Then you inquire about the price. Then you deliver your firm but polite reaction, 太贵了, and you immediately follow up with that polite request, 可以便宜一点吗? And all throughout the process, remember to keep a friendly demeanor, smile, and really aim for that mutual agreement. This structure gives you a clear, respectful path through the whole negotiation.
So I'd like to leave you all with this final question to think about. Beyond just the price, what does a successful bargain really achieve? Well, it's about so much more than just saving money. It's about achieving successful communication. It's about showing respect for a local custom, and about participating confidently in the culture. And ultimately, it's about transforming what could be a simple transaction into a memorable human connection.